How's the, what's that, is this, with someone, Earth's atmosphere. That transition from the s or z sound into those THs can be super tricky. And a lot of you have written to me asking for help with these transitions. So in this lesson, I'm going to share with you 3 key things to remember to master moving smoothly from the s and z or the s and z sounds into those THs. All right, so it's all about 3 key things to master this transition. The small slide, keeping the flow, and a gentle touch. First, let's talk about the small slide. This is about how the tongue needs to move to go from the S or Z sounds to the THs. For the S and Z sounds, the tip of the tongue is pointed up. It's behind the top front teeth, pointed towards the alveolar ridge, or that bony bump right behind the top front teeth. The tip of the tongue is pointed towards that bony bump, but it's not touching it. Try it with me. I want you to pay attention to how your tongue is positioned as you say these sounds to increase your awareness of placement, okay? S, z. Okay, feel where your tongue is. Now, for the TH sound, the tongue is more forward. The tip of the tongue is more forward. It's under the top front teeth. To move from the S to the TH, you want to let the sounds come together as you make a small slide forward. The tip of the tongue slides forward just a bit as it moves from pointing towards that bony bump to just under the top front teeth. Remember, it's a small slide. You don't need to lift the tongue and move it from one position to the next, like s, th, s, th. Instead, let the sounds come together with a small slide forward. S, s. This is what my tongue is doing inside my mouth. S. Okay, so that's tongue placement, the small slide. Now let's talk about keeping the flow. The S and Z and those TH sounds are all continuous sounds. That means that air keeps flowing as you make the sound. You can make these sounds as long as you have breath in your lungs. Try it with me. I can keep going with these sounds until I run out of air. The key when moving from the S and Z into the TH sounds is you have to keep the flow, or you have to keep the air continuously moving as you go from sound to sound. The air continues to flow over the tongue and out the front of the mouth. You do not want the tongue at any point to press against the roof of the mouth or the teeth and stop the flow of air. If you do, you'll end up with something more like a D sound. Okay, so you make a small slide as you move the tongue just a bit, forward just a bit, and you keep the air flowing. You're going to let those sounds combine. You're going to let them come together. And the final key tip here is the gentle touch. Now, as you make the TH sound, the tongue is touching the bottom of the top teeth here, but the touch is very gentle. It's very light. The tip of the tongue and the teeth are just barely connecting in order to allow the air to continuously flow between the tongue and teeth. Don't press the tongue against the bottom of the teeth or you'll stop that airflow. And again, you'll get something that sounds more like a D. Okay, so small slide, keep the flow, gentle touch. Another secret on moving from the S and Z sounds to the TH, the tongue doesn't have to be completely under the top front teeth. As you get better at pronouncing the TH sound, it is possible to keep the tongue behind the teeth here, pointed towards the back of the teeth. Either way, as you're pronouncing this sound, as you're doing the small slide forward from the S and Z to TH, you've got to keep that air flowing. Native speakers pronounce the TH sound both ways. All right, so now you know the 3 keys: the small slide, keep the flow, and a gentle touch. Let's practice. Was that? Was that? Good. Does this? Does this? Was that? Does this? Was that? Does this? You can pause the recording and just practice that transition until it begins to feel more natural to slide forward, keeping the air flowing with a very gentle touch between the tongue and teeth. Does this? Was that? All right, once that transition begins to feel more natural, let's try some different combinations and some sentences. What's the? What's the? What's the quickest way? What's the quickest way? How's this? How's this? How's this supposed to work? How's this supposed to work? Does this? Does this? Does this make sense to you? Does this make sense to you? Is that? Is that? Is that your final answer? Is that your final answer? Was the? Was the? How was the movie? How was the movie? He's the. He's the. He's the tallest kid in class. He's the tallest kid in class. It's the. It's the. It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Now let's try it in reverse, moving from the TH sound into the S. So it's the same thing, just in reversed. We're going to do a small slide, moving the tongue from under the teeth back, pointing towards that bony bump. We're going to do the small slide. We're going to keep the flow and remember a gentle touch. With some. With some. I think she's with someone. I think she's with someone. Both seem. Both seem. They both seem really nice. They both seem really nice. Earth's. Earth's. Earth's atmosphere. Earth's atmosphere. Earth's atmosphere has several layers. Earth's atmosphere has several layers. South side. South side. They live on the south side of town. They live on the south side of town. Fourth seat. Fourth seat. You're in the fourth seat from the left. You're in the fourth seat from the left. Nice practice. It really can be a tricky transition. And remember, when you're having trouble with a particular sound or combination of sounds, slow it down. Practice in slow motion. When we try to move too fast in a difficult combination of sounds, our tongue can get all jumbled up. So slow it down until the movement begins to feel a little more natural. Start simple with just moving from sound to sound slowly. And then as it becomes easier, you can speed it back up and try combining words and then moving into sentences. All right, so there you have it. The secrets to moving from those S and Z sounds into the TH. Small slide, keep the flow, and a gentle touch. You've got this. I hope you found the lesson helpful. If you did, please be sure to like and share with your friends. Come on over to the Clear English Corner website for a list of all the practice sentences used in this lesson, as well as tons of other free practice resources. As always, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.